Okay, for this session we're going to be doing the CO2 Car Assembly Drawing. So we're going to go up to New. We're going to select under Assembly the standard IAM file. Next I'm going to go up here to where it says Place from Content Center and select Place. And the first thing that I want to bring in is I'm going to click on my CO2 car folder and bring in my CO2 car body. Next, I'm going to right click on CO2 car body over here in the browser. And I want to go down to where it says grounded and select grounded. This prevents the CO2 car body from being knocked out of its isometric orientation. We want to make sure that our base component is grounded, and so that's why we ground the body here. Next, I'm going to bring in my straws, so I select place again. And again, I'm going to my CO2 car body folder. I'm going to locate the straw part file. And I'm going to place one straw up here by the front axle hole and one over here by the back axle hole, and then just simply select OK or Cancel. Next, we're going to select Constrain because we want to constrain the straws to the inside of the axle holes. And we're going to leave it on the default of Mate and Mate. Next, I'm going to click on the end of the straw and I'm going to click on the axle hole. And then select Apply. And we're going to do the same thing with the back. Click on the end of the straw, click on the back axle hole, and Apply. Next, we're going to go back up to Place. We're going to locate the axles. So again, I go to my CO2 car folder, click on the axle part file and open it. We're going to place one axle by the front axle hole and another axle by the back axle hole. Again, I'm going to open up my constraint tools, and with this one we're going to select the Insert Constraint tab, and we're going to select down here the Aligned tab. And I'm going to click on the end of the axle hole, and because I want this axle to have the same reveal on each side of the body, I'm going to type in -0.5 and then Apply. So now, if we look at this from the front end of the car or the left side on my view cube here, you'll see that we have the same amount of reveal on this side with the axle as we do on this side. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the back axle. Again, we have it set on Insert and we have it on Align. I click on the end of the axle, the back axle hole. Again, we're typing in -0.5 and Apply. Okay, next we're going to select Place. And again, returning to that CO2 car folder, we're going to locate the washer part file. And we're going to place a washer by each side, or where each axle is located. And we're going to constrain those again with the default of Mate and Mate. Now, very important here, when I select my washer, I'm going to zoom in on it because I want to click on the inside of the hole of the washer. So I don't want the white line selected on the outside, but on the inside. So orient that, click on it, and then move your cursor to where you want to place it and click. Select Apply. So we're going to do that for each of the 4 washers. Again, the interior part of the hole and near the axle hole, select Apply. Okay, so we have our washers on now. Next, we need to put our front wheels on. So I'm going to go again to Place, and I'm going to locate my front wheel part file, select Open, and I'm going to click my front wheel close to where the front axle is here. And now, because the part that receives the axle on the wheel is facing away from the axle, I'm going to right-click on this side and select Rotate X90. And I'm going to do that one additional time. So now that hole that receives the axle is facing the axle. I click to place it, and then right-click OK. Now we're ready to constrain these. And again, we're going to use the default of mate and mate. I'm going to click on the end of the axle. Try that again. I'm going to click on the end of the axle here. And I'm going to go up to my view cube and rotate this so that I can see the back side of the wheel where it's going to receive the axle. Now, very important here that I move my cursor to get that green dot to the bottom of the hole right there. Okay, again, right now, that green dot's at the top of the hole. If I move my cursor just a little bit, you'll see that green dot fall to the bottom of the hole. Right there. Now I can click to place it, select Apply. Okay. Same thing on this side. I'm going to select the end of the axle first. And I'm going to rotate so that I can see the back side of that wheel. And sometimes you have to move the view cube just a little bit to get the right angle so that you can see that green dot fall to the bottom of the hole. And then select Apply. Now I'm going to check my work to make sure it assembled correctly. Looking at it from the end, the front end. Now if you look at this closely, you can see the wheel is firmly and squarely on the axle, and we have the same amount of reveal on each side between the wheel and the body of the CO2 car. Next, I'm going to again go back up to Place and select my back wheels. And again, I'm going to click to place one over here by the back axle. Again, I have to rotate this back wheel, so I'm going to right-click, Rotate X90, right-click, Rotate X90, and then click to place. Next, I'm going to go to Constrain, again using that mate command. I'm going to click on the end of the axle, and I'm going to rotate this so that I can see the other side of the wheel. Move until I see that green dot fall to the bottom of the hole. And rotate this again so that we can see the axle. And then we have to rotate this a little bit so that we can see the back side of the wheel. And to be able to see that green dot fall to the bottom of the hole. You're going to have to move it just a little bit more. And apply. So now if we look at this, we have it all assembled. We've completed the assembly. Next, what we want to do is save this as our CO2 car assembly in our CO2 car folder.